Okay, so we're going to continue looking at base running from this, but this time we're going to look at from a perspective of a base runner rather than just the batter. And we're going to have a look at a very, very nuanced rule within the game that you really have to understand because it comes up quite often. But not a lot of people tend to understand it, especially when they first start out. And hopefully I'm going to explain it here. And that is something called tagging up. And it is slightly different to what's called a tag play. So if you are between the bases, a tag play is where the fielder will touch you with the ball or with the ball in their glove. Okay, so you don't have the safety of being on the base, so you can be tagged out. Alternatively, you could be an unforced runner. So here the runner is unforced, and here you would have to have a tag play. So as long as you got touched with the ball before you got to the base, you would be out. However, this is a slightly different rule, and it's called tagging up. And it occurs, okay, when the batter is caught. So, this is the situation. I've got a runner on first. The batter is in the batter's box, the batter is in the box. The pitch comes in and the batter hits the ball. As soon as the batter hits the ball, this batter is running to first. Okay, so the batter's hit the ball, but somewhere in the air over here. So the batter's running. What can you tell me, what can you tell me about this runner here? This runner is forced. The batter runner is coming to first base. You cannot have two people at the same base. So this runner here is forced to go to second. However, a very, very big however. If this ball is caught in the outfield or by anybody, okay, generally it happens in the outfield. If the ball is caught, the batter is out. The runner has to go back to the base that they started from, okay? So when the batter is caught with a runner, the runners must return to the base they started from. So in this situation here, if you are an inexperienced base runner, okay, or even if you're an inexperienced first base coach and you don't understand this rule, what will happen here is the ball will go in the air and the batter will run. Okay, generally what we want is the batter to then turn the corner. If you watched the last video, I want the batter to turn the corner to hopefully get to second. However, now that there is a runner ahead of them, this batter runner can't overtake them. Otherwise they'd both be out. So what happens here is this batter runner runs, and if this ball is caught, everybody, no matter how many runners we have, and I'll add more in a second, this runner is now forced to go back to where they started from, which gives the fielding side an opportunity to throw the ball and win the race back to where they started. So the most common play that I see from inexperienced base runners is the batter will hit the ball, they will start running, and the runner will just start running. Okay, they'll run to second base and they'll stay there. The ball will be caught, and what will happen now is an experienced fielding side will throw the ball into first, the batter will be out due to the catch, and now the runner will be out because they didn't return to the base from which they started. And they will be out on a tag up play, okay? They didn't tag up. So they didn't return to the base they started. The ball won the race to the base from which they started, so this runner is also out. So, how do we get around the tag up play? Let's say the ball is hit in the outfield. Now it's in the air, okay? The ball's in the air somewhere. Let's put it here. The batter's going to be running. The runner from first is forced. So, rather than run all the way to second, the runner is going to say, you know what? I'm going to go halfway. If the ball is caught I'm going to definitely win that race back. The batter will be out, but the runner can then turn around and head back to the base from which they started. If the ball lands, they're already halfway, so they can then continue on to second base. And hopefully, if the ball lands, they could then round to go to third as well. So during your practices, this is what we're trying to practice. So you will hopefully always hear from your first base coach, get halfway. If the ball is in the air, get halfway. So then you can then either retreat if it is caught, or carry on if it lands. So understand this rule. If you are on base and you are forced, ball goes in the air, bam. If it lands, you're forced to go on. But if it lands, you're probably going to win that race. You've only got halfway to go. They aren't going to get it in and get you out on a force out. However, if it's caught and you continue running, then they have a race back to first base, and that is a long distance. Okay, getting back from second to first, you could win it, I suppose, especially if the ball's over here. But if the ball's over here, okay, that ball could come in. Oops, that ball could come in before you get back, and therefore the batter would be out on the catch. So the batter's out, and you didn't win the race back because you are forced to return to the base from which you started. Now, as a runner, you need to be aware of this, okay? Let's have a look at a slightly different interpretation. Let's have a look at if you are a runner and you are unforced, okay? If you are unforced, I don't have to run. I can stay there. I can just stand on my base and just watch the play and just admire what's going on in the game. However, if the ball goes in the air, okay, the batter's going to be running regardless, because if it's caught, they just peel off and go back to their sideline. If it lands, they're going to be getting under first and hopefully going to second. If you are an unforced runner, okay, if the ball goes in the air, depends where it goes, I might want to come off the base a little bit. If it goes on my side of the field, so if it's on this side of the field, I might not go as far. Okay. If it goes this side, I might go a little bit further, depending on what I know about these players over here. If it is caught, I can go back. Okay. However, the tag-up rule has the advantage for the fielding side that they can throw the ball back and force runners back to where they started from. But there's also an advantage for the base runners as well. As soon as it is caught, you can run, so long as you tag up. This is where the name comes from, tag up play. So if the batter hits the ball nice and high in the air, it is caught, you can then go back to the base from which you started and then run. So if the ball goes in the air, I might not want to go halfway. I'm unforced. So I go back to the base, and as soon as it is caught, I'm now running to third, because there's no way they're going to throw that ball all the way over there and tag me out going into third. You can do the same play from first, but it's a lot harder. So if the ball goes in the air, you can get to halfway, okay? You could then decide, you know what, I'm going to tag up. Now, if you wait for it to be caught, there is no way that you should be, and I say should, there's no way that you can retreat back to first and then set off again to second before the ball comes back into the infield. You could if you wanted to, rather than going halfway, wait on first, wait for it to be caught, and then run. And then it's a race to tag you out at second base. However, the disadvantage of doing that from first base is that if it drops, you've now got two people on that base, and now it's a race to second base. And since you're running into the field, it's unlikely. So you're never going to do the tag up play from first. But from second, especially being an unforced runner, it could even be a forced runner, it doesn't particularly matter, okay? If the ball goes in the air, you can retreat back to where you started from, and as soon as it's caught, you can run. Okay? And depends where it's from. If it's from the right hand side, if it goes into the right field, that's a long way to throw. There's no way the fielding side are going to beat that throw. If the ball goes into the left field, then it's a little bit shorter. Okay, you might want to stay where you are. Okay, so retreat back, and you know what? I'm going to stay where I am. Where this comes into its own, however, is when you're on third base. Let's assume that you're on third base. It doesn't matter whether you're a forced runner on third base. Now, here's a little quiz for you. Is this runner forced or not? Well, you might think he's forced because there's a runner behind them. And they would be forced forward if this runner runs to third. If they go to third, then this person is forced to go to home. However, okay, it's not a forced play because this person isn't forced round. So you were only forced if everybody behind you is forcing you round. So it doesn't matter in this instance for tagging up. But if the ball is hit in the air and caught from third base, okay, you have a long time to think about it. So you would never get halfway, really, from third base. You were only ever going to home and you're going to be scoring. So if the ball goes in the air, you will stay on your base. So what we tend to say is from first base, get halfway. From second base, get about a third of the way. On third base, stay on the base. Because what can happen is if the ball goes in the air, if it is caught, you can then start running. So as soon as it is caught, you can then start running. And so long as you get home before that ball comes in, which is highly likely, then you're going to score a run. If you stay on your base and it drops, you've got plenty of time just to walk down this line and score anyway. So from third base, which is the most likely place that this is going to happen with tagging up, your third base coach will be talking to you. You are unforced. Stay on your base if the ball goes in the air. So the ball goes in the air, wait until it's caught. Now it's a race. Who can get back to home base first? Can you get there or can the ball get there? And in this sport, probably it's going to be you getting there first. If the ball is popped up, what's called popped up, so rather than being deep into the outfield, the ball is popped up and caught in the infield, then obviously you're not going to beat that throw. So if the ball is popped up and caught by any of the infielders or even the pitcher, you just stay where you are. Okay. So the tagging up rule is this rule here. If the ball is caught, any runners in motion, so if you're running to the next base, you must return to the base from which you started. So to make sure we don't fall foul of this, you have different rules at different bases. At first base, get halfway. If it is caught, you have to come back. If it is not caught, if it drops in the outfield, obviously then you're running on to second and potentially third. If it's a ground ball, run, and you're running to second and hopefully not overshooting it. You're stopping at second. On second base, it's a little bit less, maybe a third of the way. Ball goes in the air, okay? But on second base, do you want to go back before it is caught and potentially get an extra base? I would say in this situation, if it goes away from you into right field, then you will beat the throw. If it goes to left field, probably not. Go back to second. If you're on third base as a runner, if the ball goes in the air, stay where you are. Because even if it is caught or it drops, you're going to get back home and you're going to score a run. And to finish this up in terms of base running, okay, I'm going to throw this at you. Everything I've just said is irrelevant if there are 2 outs. So if there are 2 outs and the ball goes in the air, you don't have to worry about tagging up because if the ball is caught, then that will be the third out and the side swaps round. If the ball drops, you're running anyway. So if there are 2 outs, as soon as the ball is hit, you're running. Okay. If there are no outs or one out, then follow the tag up rules. Listen to your coach and listen to your base coach.